What is good, my anime faithful? What is good, yo? Black Clover, welcome back to the lineup, man. Holy, feels like forever since we've seen the actual sub Black Clover. Since the dub was actually pretty smart to can continue to just still like come out, but unlike the dub, the sub has finally come back and we can get some more enjoyment out of this show. Last time I talked about Black Clover, I had some really awesome people tell me that even though I'm seeing some of the dopest stuff that I've seen in Black Clover, and one of the most anticipated things I was waiting for was practically the arc of seeing Asta go into this form. Now everybody's telling me that I haven't even seen anything yet, and I feel like the new opener and closer songs kind of ruined that for me. Um, I was hoping for an arc where like all of the like wizards battle and stuff. What? I wanted to see all them battle, and maybe we could get like an understanding of just like who is the true strongest guild, because it doesn't make sense to rank the guilds if there isn't a way of proving that they're rank one besides like doing missions and stuff like that. So I thought it would have been a much cooler way for the show to kind of give the bigger emphasis to, oh yeah, these guys are the best because look how they work together as a team, or you know what I mean? Just like look at everything that adds up for them when they're together compared to other people. But what the opening song did was show us a bunch of teams, like a lot of people working together, and most of them were our own like people in the Clover Kingdom fighting each other. So if that is the case, where we're going to see some dope like inside of like Clover Kingdom fighting, I am 100% for that. So I can't wait to see what this show has in store, because man, oh man, it's already shown a couple things in this opener that is, and the end song, like right at the end song, there's this guy with like all these wrappings over his mouth and stuff, almost as if he kind of reminds me of Grimjaw, if you ever seen Bleach, like a red hair Grimjaw. Um, but he looks dope. His design looks so amazing, and to think that he is going to be on Asta's team supposedly is very interesting to me, because for some reason every time I've seen this character, he's been kind of like with Asta or next to Asta doing something. So it's safe to say they have somewhat of a breaching point. Like this, sooner or later, they're going to have to do something with each other in the sense of fight or get to know each other, or maybe even both. Because look at Asta and Mars now at the end of this week's episode, straight up best friends talking about they're gonna come and save each other if one of the other needs it, you know. So, and that's two people who were huge enemies at the beginning of the series. So it just goes to show you with what Asta kind of brings to the table, as well as not only just ridiculous power, but he also can bring the power of friendship. Autobots. So I thought that was a pretty cool way of pretty much just saying that in a sense. I didn't think that they would become like that, but hey, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a good choice. Hold on. And I think because of this, it's a good way for this show to start getting more to the point of like who else is potentially like a problem throughout this show. Like who else can come into this world and pretty much like start up a fight and actually uh you know win. Who are the people that can actually put up such a crazy fight that some people don't even stand a chance, you know? So I think we're learning that relatively quickly. One thing that really, and I'll probably get off of the opening and the ending songs after this, but the one thing that really grind my gear about seeing the opening, or like seeing just like what was happening within it was, God, hold on, I'm about to lose my train of thought. There was something in there that just gave too much away. I can't remember now. Um, but if I remember, I'll come back to it. But yeah, so with all of the things that are happening throughout this week's episode, they still have like the tendency to squeeze in things that are like actually going to further the narrative and further the story and stuff like that, because we learned so much this week just about elves, elves and what they could be like honestly bringing to the table. Um, Really, you're just gonna watch me sleep, cat? Thank you. Um, and just like how much potential elves already had back in the day, and kind of what was their downfall and all of that type of stuff. So seemingly, I was pretty close to the mark when I came down to just guessing about the whole opening credit thing, and just like why the person of the Midnight Sun could be so closely related to all that stuff that happens. So supposedly, the elves have some type of way of activating a spell that can pretty much like have that demon that we see in the beginning of the show like exist, like to be able to come to life in a sort of speak way. And if that is the case, elves were definitely more dangerous than I initially thought. Like, sure, they were trying to live peaceful and stuff like that, but at the same time, if they were allowed to, um, win the overall battle, and there was no Wizard King to take out that giant monster that they may have summoned or may or not, like this is just this is me going off of like the basic information that they're giving us that could also like turn into being something that is fabricated, so um, you can get, oh man, that move is trash. Switchblades are trash if you can get knocked off while you're on like that. Come on, bruh. Um, but yeah, so if that is the case, and we're learning that there's a whole bigger connection between the Wizard King and the elves when in that time period, it will just tell us that a lot more is going to be revealed overall with uh, with that in general. Excuse me, I just woke up. I apologize for the yawns. But yeah, guys, I honestly don't think that um, this episode was very like I don't know how to explain. Like it just felt like it had a lot of things that weren't necessarily important, but at the same time, it feels like because so much crazy stuff happened, that they wanted to just get it out of the way. Because I mean, if you think about it, we've already had we've already had the explanation of maybe why the Wizard King attacked these people. We've already knew that Mars was good, but then he wants to now make the Diamond Kingdom a like good place to be and stuff like that. So there's all these little details that come from this episode that we can actually plan to see a change in the future, which I thought was really awesome of them. Not to mention making Mars's character actually likable didn't seem like it was one of their plans. So I do appreciate that as well. Like his abilities plus having multiple abilities in the sense of different types of magic is actually ridiculously broken. And to hear him say that he's gonna just, if Asta's in trouble, he's gonna bust out and, to go and help him. It just goes to show you what Asta brings to the table as just being himself, and kind of another reason why is falling behind. Even if he is keeping up with Asta's power level, he's not keeping up with Asta in the regards of having people that are, relatively as strong as him, if not stronger, at points when, Asta isn't like in rage mode and using the demon power. Mars is stronger than him, I feel like, at that point before he goes into that stuff. So, if that is the case, it just goes to show you that with Mars, Vanessa, Noelle, um, even the people who went out this week's episode to pretty much better Asta's life all came back with like epiphanies and different things that may have like changed them overall. Like people were coming back with brand new personalities. I mean, granted, they were personalities that lasted until Asta told him his arms were fixed, but at the same time, it just goes to show you that that's how much of influence and how much they actually wanted it to all work out at the end of the day for him to be better. And I think that's actually a pretty fun way of, just having all of these characters not only, come to the fruition of like, oh, I really do care about Asta. Oh, I do want Asta to be okay and all this stuff. They also had to come to reasoning of like, hey, we are going to have to fight the Midnight Sun sooner or later. And just with the information that they've gotten, it could be much sooner than later. And if it isn't for some reason, we could be seeing a lot more of just like the overall kingdom and stuff. Wow, his roar stunned me out of the air. We could just be seeing more of like the Wizard King, and because I did see in the pre-credits like the Wizard King talking to somebody else, or like there's some type of event going on and they're watching. Oh, that's right. Okay, the last thing that spoiled me in the song that made me actually say no and want to pause it and stop watching was the man who I thought had a chance to finally come back and maybe do something cool, the man of the fire team, the Fire Lions or whatever, and pretty much as soon as I see him, the man has demonic eyes hanging out behind him, and he himself has like vampire teeth and stuff. Man, I was not expecting him to become evil, but at the same time, I mean, he hadn't shown up in so long, and he already had like twitched and like woken up his eye, like his eyes seemingly were about to wake up, and it just didn't happen. And I thought, that was for good reason, but I didn't think the good reason would be that he's going to maybe then turn evil, or maybe that the Midnight Suns have put the same type of curse on him when he was in that weird like area he couldn't use magic and stuff like that. Maybe that's an area that you need to be in to actually be inflected by that third eye whole thing and pretty much be having it attached to you and stuff like that. I'm not sure, but it would make sense on how he actually attained it and why he's had it all this time, and also that it takes a tremendous amount of power to activate and also sacrifice of some sort. So what that sacrifice is, I don't know. And to be fair, all this information came from the witch, the person who supposedly might not even, really know about what's going on, in the sense of like the witch being on teams with the Midnight Sun. So she don't know really much about it, but from her guessing that the elves are maybe like descendants of this team, she has a good guess of what they're capable of. And man, they're capable of some pretty crazy stuff if it all pops off the way that she might see it. So we're really in for a treat. I am in the middle of death right now. My God. And I am in sword mode, so I can't roll. Oh, thank God he went for the Rathalos. But yeah, man, overall, Black Clover is truly showing, I think, a lot of animes that even if you're brand new, because I mean, look at Boruto and how long it's like drawing out its series compared to like the manga and stuff like that. And I mean, the only series that I see that's really, really long that feels drawn out, that's probably not drawn out, and people can tell me why it's not drawn out if they really want to, is One Piece. And because I mean, every time the manga does something in One Piece, they don't do filler. I feel like they just go straight to the next arc. And if they aren't going to the next arc, they take a little bit of time to explain how they're getting to the next arc and stuff like that. So, wow, he actually flew off and I got knocked. I've never seen that. Um, but yeah, really awesome stuff. I do not see uh like any of the characters really like dying off and stuff. So for the Flame guy, he literally lost his arm and he's been okay like this whole time. So in my opinion, there's not a lot of people. Oh my God, why did I do that? There's not a lot of people in this show that are just gonna like get straight up bodied and killed, I hope. So if that is the case and we get to see a lot more of these characters grow and become like better people and become stronger, which seemingly is the case with the new guy Asta is supposedly like teaming up with or something. I mean, if you guys watch the end credit and the opening credits, you'll have just as much information as I'm going off of with that character. So let me know what you guys think about him and where that could be possibly going. But yeah, other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, night, evening, whatever the case it is for you. And I will talk to y'all in the next one. Expect to hear probably another new anime from me. I also saw that Date slash Alive is third season's not Raw anymore, so also I'm going to drop a video on that later today. So if you're excited for that, make sure you guys drop a like on this video and also subscribe to make sure you get that content instantly. The notification bell, if it's on, you'll get notifications from this channel every single time I post. And also it helps me to just have you guys being able to get in on these videos and talk to me, because then I actually feel a whole lot better about making these videos and getting to talk to an audience that truly loves what I love. So thank you guys so much for even being around, and I will talk to you in the next one. All right, peace.